Howdy, everybody. How is it going? How are you doing? Okay, this is language enthusiast. Okay, I'm pronouncing I'm calling my name. I'm saying my name right today. I'm so relieved. Okay, today is Friday, October 20th, the year 2023. The weather in this area is cloudy, and the weather report said that it's going to start raining at around 4 p.m. Okay, and the temperature for today is 24 degrees Celsius. Oh, it's mild, very mild. It's neither too cold nor too hot. I love this kind of weather. I love this time of the year, okay? Because I am born on, not October. Yes, I actually born on October 31st, the very last day of October. But since my mother was born on September 1st, so she decided to change my real birthday to September 1st so that our birthdays were the same. In those days, it was totally okay. It was not illegal to do it. My mother just asked the midwife to change my birthday to the next day, and there it was, okay? So every time I have to refer to any, not horoscope, but I don't know how to call it. I forgot. In the magazines or something, horoscope, is it okay? Some horoscopes are depending on which month you were born, right? In such a case, this trouble happens because I can't decide which month I should pick up. Yeah, in a real sense, I was born on October 31st, but officially, I've been using this birthday, which is September 1st, as my birthday, real birthday, right? So I can't decide which to use. In such a case, the best option is that, anyway, I looked at the both, okay? Both of the sections and what they say, and pick up only the good ones, good things, for myself, and try to apply them for myself, okay? So this is what I always do when it comes to horoscope, a horoscope for my birthday month. Anyway, where was I? The weather was cloudy, right? And it's quite cool and a little bit warm. I love this kind of weather, yes. But yesterday's video ended halfway, and I didn't try to fix it so that it was going to have the ending, proper official ending. I try to fix it so that it could have the official proper ending or closure, because I was just exhausted last night or the entire day. I mean, I was practically tattered. I was exhausted. I was, I don't know, it was excruciating. I mean, the driving to Osaka in the first place. Can I talk about this a little bit more? Yeah, I talked about part of it in my yesterday's video, but I wasn't able to talk about everything that I have been thinking about doing it because I was a bit, just as I said, exhausted. Not only physically, physically, yes, because I kept driving for about 3 hours on our way there, and another 3 hours on our way back, practically, and because I'm the only person who was able to drive. Basically, my daughter doesn't have a driver's license, like many young people nowadays. We have more and more young people who don't care about driving license. In those days, when I was younger, you must have a driver's license to have a girlfriend. I mean, when it comes to men, all right? Because you have to be tall, you have to have a driving license, and also you would have to have a driving license, and you would have to have a good car, expensive car that you can show off, that your girlfriend would love, okay? And one more thing, you would have to be in good education, or you would have to be rich, or you would have to be someone who earns much money. So naturally, you would have to be the one who has a very good job, right? Right. But nowadays, young people don't care much about it as the young people in those days did. And somehow, and and my daughter was one of them. And she actually went to the school to learn how to drive, but she gave it up because she thought that was not her thing. She was pretty sure that she was not going to be a good driver. I guess that's partly because she had never driven herself. Is it okay, driven? I'm not sure how to conjugate this word. Driven, right? Okay, but I think that was a wise decision, I guess, because if you don't like driving, there's no point in or of learning how to drive in the first place, right? But people tend to assume that you have to have a driver's license to be normal, or it would be convenient if you had a driver's license. What if your job would require you to drive suddenly, and if you didn't have a driver's license, you couldn't get the job, right? You couldn't make them satisfied, right? And for some jobs, at first, in the first place, you need a driver's license, right? But when it comes to her, she's quite satisfied with it. But for me, I tend to think that it would be inconvenient if you not to have a driver's license, because whenever possible, whenever I feel like going out, my car is there and I can drive anytime, and it looks like almost free. It's practically not free because it costs some gas, right? And it costs some for maintenance. So it's not basically free, but it tends to make me feel that just driving, whenever possible, whenever you feel like it gives me freedom, so much freedom. And but nowadays I'm getting older, and the other day when I went to Osaka, I realized that yeah, I'm getting older because I used to be okay when it comes to driving to somewhere like Osaka, and even I sometimes went to Tokyo by myself by driving. It was okay. It was as twice as far as it is to Osaka, but I drove there myself entire time. I can't believe this. It was tiring. Yeah, it was tiring, and I had to stop many times to have a rest. But still, I was able to drive myself to Tokyo, which is about 600 kilometers from where I live. But when I went to Osaka the other day, it was about 2 days ago, I was exhausted and I wasn't confident. I wasn't confident 100% that we could come back safely, but I tried really hard. So after I came back home on that day, on that night, very night, I couldn't fall asleep at all because I was too excited still, because I had to be excited while I was driving on our way back. Especially, it was pitch dark. It was pitch dark. It was pitch dark on our way home, back home. We were on the expressway, and it took about more than 2 hours. And there was no light on the expressway. Yeah, there was some light, but mostly the lights were from all those cars driving on the road. And especially I had a lot of trouble driving while when most of the cars running on the road with me were trucks, very big trucks, delivery trucks. Okay, I understand that they were doing their jobs. They were doing their great jobs, and I really appreciate them, because without them, we cannot buy things at the stores, right? So when typhoons or natural disasters like typhoons or anything else, earthquakes or floods came to Japan, and all those delivery trucks can't deliver things because many roads are stopped. So in such a case, the shelves in convenience stores, supermarkets can be totally empty, right? This shows that how helpful those people in such delivery trucks work for us. When it comes to making a long sentence like the one I just said, I tend to forget where I started in the first place, and it's quite confusing because I'm doing a completely impromptu, meaning that when I'm speaking here is totally unscripted. I'm not reading anything. I'm not the one who can do something like this. I mean, speaking while looking at something naturally. speaking naturally while reading something, I'm not that good. Okay, I'm not that good. I'm not that one who has such skills, great skills. I can't juggle things. I can't do more than two things at the same time because of my tendency. And once I was talking about my tendency, I might have said that it turned out that I should have said I was once diagnosed with bipolar syndrome, not disease, but bipolar disorder. Okay, bipolar disorder. And I might have said that I have a borderline disorder. That was totally wrong. Okay, there is a kind of a big difference between bipolar disorder and borderline disorder, right? No offense, but I think so. And anyway, since I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder once, but I don't trust this because everybody has their good days and bad days, right? Yeah, of course I do, and it's obvious that my good days are very good, but my bad days are terrible, and even worse than other people. But since I've never compared it myself to other people's, so I don't know how bad or how worse my bad days can be compared to other people. So I cannot say that my bad days are absolutely worse than other people. But okay, anyway, I think I'm pretty normal. And when it comes to misfortune, I'm quite sure that I have never experienced something devastating in my life, in my entire life, because for some people, because of such disasters like floods, earthquakes, and typhoons, they might be in a situation where they have no water, they have no gas, they have no electricity, right? I never experienced something like this in my whole life. When I was younger, when I was very little, it often happens that blackout, and because of the heavy rain, we didn't have electricity for a certain amount of time, but not as long as a day, even. And so I'm sure that up until now, I've been very fortunate. I've been very lucky. I don't know why. Okay. And anyway, where was I? Yeah, yesterday. The day before yesterday, I went to Osaka to see the world's oldest wombat in the zoo. It's in Osaka, actually, and he is 34 years old. And normally, in nature, okay, I had to stop the recording because I had to cough. Anyway, so yes, I went to the zoo to see the world oldest wombat, who is 34 years old, who will be 35 this year, next year, I don't know, but he is actually the oldest in the world. And in nature, wombats usually live up to 5 years old, tops. Okay, so this shows how long he has been living, right? But so in nature, it's dangerous, right? So they tend to be killed, then tend to be dead much earlier. They can just live for 5 years. It's so surprising, right? And wombats love people, and wombats love to be someone else or some other wombats. But when it comes to, I'm not really sure that they live in, horde. I don't know. I'm not sure that they are kind of an animal like horse or elephants. Like they love to stay with other animals, right? The same kind. Okay, but I'm not really sure about this. But when it comes to all those 4 wombats in the zoo in Osaka has at the moment 4 wombats. And just as I said in yesterday's video, the zoo itself is very, very small, and it doesn't it doesn't require any entrance fee. So practically it's free to enter the zoo. So we have to donate. Not have to, but some people who are willing to donate, or a donation is welcome there, okay? And I put some money in the donation box though. And anyway, the zoo is so small that they only have a limited number of different kinds of animals. Like they have sheep and goats, ponies, and alpacas. Okay, alpaca or alpacas, I don't know. It should be plural, or it should be singular, or I'm not sure. But alpaca, one of whom spit at us. Okay. And anything else? And some chickens, very unique kind of chickens, or chickens and turkeys. No, I don't know. Hens. I don't know. I'm not sure. But since we went there pretty late, just before 1 hour before, we arrived there 1 hour before they were closed, which was already past 3 p.m. And I thought that the zoo was going to be closed at 4, but that was wrong. In fact, they are going to close at 4:45, but we had to stay there nearly 1 hour. So we had to be very hurry. We have to be hurry, but that was okay because anyway, they didn't have many animals. They didn't have many animals that we see. So it wouldn't take much long. And anything else? And they also have small animals like hamsters, or a little bigger size of hamsters, and anything else. Many birds, like not as big as peacock, but they didn't have peacock. But I don't know how to call it. Inko in Japanese, though. Okay. Yeah, small kinds of birds. Okay, but we somehow couldn't see them because they were somewhere else, or they are just resting in their own rooms. I don't know, but usually people who come to the zoo can enjoy spending time with those small ones in the same room. Like they can touch those animals directly, and yeah. But when we went there was no such thing as like friendly room or something like that, communication room or something like that. Okay, anyway, and there were 4. They were supposed to have 4 wombats in the Wombat's Place, which is the most popular place and which has the most number of people who are watching them. And but just 3 of them were outside. And at first, none of them were outside. So it was disappointing because we went there all the way from where we live. It takes about 200 kilometers, right? But what if we couldn't see them? It would be disappointing. But fortunately, one by one, somehow, they began to be out. And even one of them, which is the biggest and which is the fattest, which is the most friendly one, was enjoying walking around in his own place, because there in between each place there is this clear wall compartment, so each room is private, pretty private, and they cannot communicate with each other. I mean, each wombat cannot communicate with each other because of this clear wall between each compartment. But we can see them at once because each wall is clear and transparent. It's made of probably plastic or something. And this very most friendly fattest one, most chubby one, is pretty hilarious. And he didn't do it on purpose. He just does it, right? Because it's his nature. But everything that he does looks funny, and it makes everyone laugh, and it was quite soothing, and I felt as if he was entertaining the visitors. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to stop the recording again to do some cough. Okay, anyway. And my daughter has loved the animal very much, and she always watches their YouTube channels. The YouTube channel of the particular zoo. But I was not as interested in wombats as she was. But since I saw them directly, not in person, but because I'm a person, but they're not people, right? But I quite enjoyed watching them because they are funny, hilarious, very cute, adorable, funny. It's pleasing. It was pleasing to see them, and it was even soothing. And now I have grown. I don't know. Okay, I took to them now. I love them now because they are so cute, and and so why don't you go there yourself to watch them, because they have the world's oldest wombat, who is 34 years old. And on our way back, we had one more stop that we were thinking of stopping at, which was, I said that in yesterday's video, that we were thinking of buying some takoyakis or octopus dumpling, which is quite near the, not far from the zoo. And we went there and we parked our car in the parking lot because I didn't want to park my car illegally. And luckily, since it was close to the station, we were able to find a parking lot quite easily. And I parked my car there, and it cost 300 yen, or maybe $2. for an hour, but I thought it would be for 30 minutes, so I thought we had to be in a hurry. And the takoyaki shop was just close to the parking lot, but unfortunately, surprisingly, it was closed. And we didn't know why, because on Google, it said that they are closed on Wednesdays. No, Tuesdays. And it was actually Wednesdays. It was Wednesday yesterday. No, it was Thursday yesterday. No, I'm sorry. I got confused. We went there on Wednesday. Okay, but the Google said that they are closed on Tuesdays. So naturally, they were supposed to be open, but somehow they are closed, meaning we couldn't buy takoyaki there, which was totally disappointing. And there are many shops around the station. It was a bustling area. And we walked around for a while, looking for any place to buy something to eat since we were hungry. But we couldn't find any place that we could buy something quickly. There are some restaurants and there is a supermarket, but the place we went to get some food or some snacks was a convenience store, the same kind that we can find in our area. How stupid we did, right? How stupid it was, right? Anyway, and we decided to go back home, and thinking that we could grab a bite somewhere on our way back. On our way there, we ate this very delicious Chinese pork bun. We bought at their stand, outside stand. It was actually in a space. It was actually the space in the shopping arcade, though, of the resting point stop of the expressway. It was quite huge, and not only inside but outside there were some stands from which you can buy food, mostly fast food though. And our Chinese meat bun is quite huge, and just eating one Chinese meat bun was enough for us to be full. And all the foods and drinks, my daughter paid. Okay, my daughter paid for all the drinks and foods, because I paid all the transportation fee. Okay, and then when we came back, it was already getting dark, and by the time I got on the expressway, it was dark. So I was really, really scary, to be honest with you, 100%. And I wasn't confident that I was able to drive safely. But so it was miracle. It was miracle that we were able to come back safely, safe and sound. But when I was driving, so I was talking about this truck, right? The light if there was a big truck in front of me, yeah, most often I had truck. I had a truck in front of me most of the time, though. Every time this kind of big truck came in front of me, the back side of the truck is very shiny. I mean, not because of the light, but because of the material that the truck outside of the truck is made of. It's metal, I guess. It's silver, and it's like a mirror, and it reflects on. Is it okay? On my own light. It's really, really bright. It's too bright for me to keep opening my eyes while driving in the dark. Okay, and so on my way back, it was really, really hard for me to drive because of this light. The light itself was from my own car, but it was reflected on the surface of the truck in front of me, which was running. And I wonder why or how come those trucks have that material that is similar to a mirror. It's really troublesome. Yeah, even in the city, I always feel this way in the city, not only on the expressway. But since expressway requires us to drive much faster, right? And we cannot stop, right? But it's not easy to change lanes, right? I mostly drove on the left side, which is the slower line, and I never want to be on the right side because this is for the cars which runs faster. And I don't think I have the right to drive on the right side because I'm not such a good driver. Very prompt, I'm not a very good driver anyway. So I should choose the left lane. Most of the time, the lanes, the expressway had only 2 lanes, but sometimes it had 3 lanes, which is relieving because I can just kept staying. I can just keep staying on the far left side of the lane, which is the slowest. And when it comes to driving on the far left side of the lane, nothing makes me hurry. Nothing makes me frustrated. Okay, and where was I? And so yes, because of that driving all the way through the entire time tired me so much, and I was so exhausted, and it made me feel that I should quit driving pretty soon. It's going to be high time very soon, I guess. I will be 60, and even some people still drive at the age of 80. Well, some people decide to return their driver's license because they can be too old to drive. And up until the other day, I thought that it was none of my business. But because of my driving last time, I was pretty sure that the day that I will have to return my driver's license is not very far. It's sad because I used to love driving. Driving is the most enjoyable thing for me to do because while I driving, I was able to listen to whatever I loved, and while watching all those beautiful sceneries, it was so enjoyable. But nowadays, I cannot feel it as enjoyable as I used to do. And when it comes to good scenery, on our way there, we were able to see some great sceneries that we never had. We went there. We went out actually. Both my daughter and I tend to be always inside because what we really want to do is the things that we can do inside our house. So there is no reason that we have to go outside. But once we know, when it comes to, in terms of myself, once I go out, I always feel that, it was good that I went out because I can now enjoy this great scenery. If I were inside the house, I couldn't enjoy this scenery. So I always feel this way, but that's why now it was good that we went out 2 days ago. It was a good opportunity for us to enjoy the scenery. But in fact, on our way there, my daughter was listening to some music with her own earphones, and I was listening to some English from my iPhone, on my iPhone, and we were doing something different. We were doing our own things in the same car, and actually, when I was seeing the great scenery, she was just looking at the other way around. She was mostly looking at the mountains, and she was impressed by how the mountains looked. Like there are so many mountains on the right side, and they look so fluffy, like stuffed animals. The surface of stuffed animals. You know how stuffed animals look? They are like fluffy. Is it okay? FL. Is it okay? Since Japanese people cannot tell between L and R sound, so I don't know which actually, because fluffy and fluffy, for us, they sound the same, almost the same. And when it comes to written text, when we write both words in Japanese, we write the same way. Both completely different words can be written in exactly the same way, meaning we cannot differentiate this sound of L and R. So we think that both sounds are totally the same. Okay, so that's why maybe fluffy, or I don't know. It looks like stuffed animals. So she was impressed by that, but At the same time, exactly the same time, I was looking at the left side, and there were great scenery. There was sea, and there were some ships, vessels, tankers, and I was impressed by that. But she was not looking at it. It's quite funny, right? Because we were in the same car, but we didn't have any conversation because we were listening to our own audio. But on our way back, we talked a lot. But I had to concentrate on my driving anyway because I was a driver, and my main job was to drive safely so that we could come home safe and sound. And I was so relieved when I came home, and I thought it was miracle. It was just miracle. And I asked her, my daughter, later that, how dare you to let me drive all the way from here to Osaka in the first place? You are so brave. I thought she was so brave. Partly because she doesn't know about what driving is like, right? So she's not oblivious to it. So that's why she doesn't scared to let me drive. Let someone in her late 50s and maybe who it will be in her 60s next year. No offense, I'm not saying that all the people in my age is dangerous to drive. No, some people are good at it still, right? But in my case, I don't drive much. I drive less, actually. So that's why I decided to drive this time around, because I bought this car almost new last year. It's been nearly a year and a half, but since I didn't drive this car much, I haven't driven this car much, I thought it was quite wasteful. So I decided to use this car to travel this time around. That was one of the reasons, and actually that was one of the biggest reasons for our journey this time around. And so where was I anyway? Yeah, how dare you? I asked my daughter that, how dare you? I'm not really sure how to use this word. I'm using this word dare, how dare you, for the first time in my speech. But how dare you to let me drive for that distance, for long? And she said that, yeah, whether we had an accident or not, depends on it's a mere luck. I mean, if you are lucky, you can be back safely, but if you're not lucky, you cannot. It's very simple, it's easy, and I'm not scared of it, or something like that. How brave she is, right? How simple her way of thinking can be. I'm quite impressed. So she wasn't worried about it as much as I actually was, and that was impressive. But anyway, I was so scared, and I was scared physically because of the driving, but I also was quite tired mentally or spiritually, because even the night before the day we went to Osaka, I happened to find quite a number of very inspirational people on YouTube, and that was a great shock to me in a good way. But I was always thinking about them while I was driving. While I was even in Osaka, I was always thinking about these people, inspirational people I happened to find on YouTube the night before. And they were just great. And I really want to talk about them. But since I've been talking for 15 minutes now, I think it's time for me to stop. Because the longer the recording is, the more difficult I listen back to it, because I have to spend the same amount of time that I spent on my recording, right? And since I have many things that I want to do, like learning Spanish, this has something to do with my Spanish learning, but I really want to talk about it now, but it's gonna be much, much longer, so I think it's about it for today, okay? Thank you for listening, and since my recording is quite disorganized, because I do it totally impromptu, this is my speaking practice, and so that's why I think it's totally okay for me to be disorganized here and there. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll be back tomorrow too, and I really hope that you have a great weekend very soon. Okay, bye for now.